What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. The Wizards dropped really a winnable game, 117 to 111 at home, and it wasn't for a lack of trying. Riley Bill, 33 points, and KP with 24, with 17 from Denny off the bench. We're going to talk about the reasons why this was winnable and reasons why we lost it next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Again, welcome to Locked On Wizards. This is your boy Brandon Scott with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Tonight's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit matchup with $100 with promo code Locked On. That's PrizePicks.com/promo code Locked On. So, again, the Wizards drop really in the second half a very winnable game to the Milwaukee Bucks, 117 to 111 at home. And again, it wasn't for the lack of trying. Bradley Beal contributed 33, KP 24 with 14 rebounds. So, if you look at two factors tonight, which one of these factors lost the game? Was it perimeter defense, or was it the fact that we lost the battle of the benches?
I would say perimeter defense. I think they made it a point to make it tough for Giannis and build kind of like a steel wall. Last game he had 55, and tonight we held him to 23, which is, I guess, somewhat of a improvement there. But he still ended up with a triple double. If you didn't see the last rebound for the triple double, he actually did it on purpose. Like, he missed the shot. He clanked it off the side of the rim and then got it and got the rebound. So he ended up with a triple double, a kind of a phony triple double. But they made it a point to make it tough on Giannis. But with them double teaming and trying to triple team him, he found open shooters. They started the game off. Brook Lopez hit 2 threes to start the game off. Joe Ingles started off with hitting 2 threes. Jevon Carter had 6 threes off the bench. The Bucks as a whole, they had 22 threes as a whole team. They had 5 guys hit at least 3 threes. Joe Ingles hit 4 threes. Jevon Carter hit 6 threes. Grayson Allen hit 6 threes. Drew Holiday hit 3 threes, and Brook Lopez hit 3 threes. So you had 4 or 5 guys with at least 3 threes. Pat Connaughton hit 2 threes as well. The 3-point defense was definitely lackluster tonight, but it was because they were double teaming Giannis, and when they did those double teams, he was able to find open shooters. He had 13 assists tonight, so Giannis took advantage of that with them, playing the type of defense they did on him. He did a great job of finding other guys, and he didn't force the issue himself. Jay Crowder did have a really nice behind the back pass to Drew Holiday as well for a tough 3, but perimeter defense was lackluster. And in the beginning of the game, they were going under screens. They went under screens for Joe Ingles. They went under screens for Brook Lopez. When clearly Brook Lopez is one of the few centers, or not few centers. There's a lot of centers that are able to knock down threes in the league today with modern basketball. Brook Lopez is a good 3-point shooter. He's known for that. So I don't know. Like Kuzma has said in the past, knowing their personnel, they didn't do a good job of that tonight. Grayson Allen, the play where Bill was on his back, I thought that was a little unnecessary on Grayson, because of his past and his history. Was it a dirty play? It's questionable, but it doesn't really matter. But I just wanted to bring that up, of course. But yeah, I would say the perimeter defense, I thought they did a good job of making it tough on Giannis. And the effort was there tonight. Offensive boards, we had 20 offensive rebounds. DeLon Wright was crashing the glass. Bradley Beal had a good amount of rebounds. Porzingis had a good amount of rebounds. But this is another game where Porzingis in the first half, he had 18 points. Guess what? He ends up with 24 points. I just don't know what's going on with him in the second half. I don't know if it's West not getting him the basketball, calling post-ups, mid-range plays for him in the high post. It's just a disappearing act, and I'm not going to blame Porzingis. I just don't know what's going on in the second half. Why is he starting off so hot? And in the second half, he'll end up with 2 or 3 or 4 or only 6 more points in the second half when he starts off with 20 points in the first half. So it's a pattern that we're seeing each game now. And the Bucks, they just executed down late. Bradley Beal had a turnover down late. We were down by 6. But the Wizards, they put up a good effort tonight. I can't be mad at the effort. I thought they improved in the Raptors game. They cut down on turnovers. The only thing was the 3-point defense. They only had tonight. They had 9 turnovers compared to 24 turnovers. Tonight they out rebounded the Bucks 56-46. If you look at the stat sheet, other than 3-pointers, the Wizards were the better team on paper, but of course it doesn't work like that. The Bucks they're a well-oiled machine. They're an NBA Finals contender, and they just show that down the stretch. They executed better. They hit big shots. Drew Holiday made his free throws down the stretch, and they played better basketball down the stretch.
No, what you saw from Milwaukee is championship basketball. I mean, if you just look, that's the team, and they play well together. The chemistry is obvious. But bringing up the comments from Kyle Kuzma about 2 things you brought up. One, the lack of scouting, not knowing your opponent. I mean, look, bro. I mean, we known that Brook Lopez was a 3-point shooter since he was in Brooklyn. I mean, how you not know? I mean, I'm just saying. And 2, Kyle Kuzma when he said that not a lot of plays are being run for guys like himself and KP, and it shows. I think that's a big reason. You're not seeing a lot of plays being run, especially in the second half for KP. Usually it's a lot of plays being run for Brad, which I get it. With this franchise, look, Bradley Beal's the franchise guy. He's the focal point for this franchise. But the thing with that is, there's a lot of talk with re-signing Kyle Kuzma. If I'm KP, and if I'm not getting plays run from me, and I'm not getting touches in the second half, I'm kind of looking at like, what's going on, man? Like, because with him being healthy and him having the year that he's had so far, he's going to want a bigger role next year. So that might be a little kind of a flag. But man, it's just it's weird, man, because we won the paint. Look at the paint stats, man. 56 rebounds, 20 offensive rebounds, and 58 points in the paint. So, and then it just that shows how much the lack of perimeter defense really kills his team. Because look at the tail of the tape, man. We only lost by 6, even though we really struggled in the first half. The second half, we came out guns a-blazing, man. I mean, Bradley Beal, 33 points, 15 for 30 points, 32 from the field, man. KP, 24 and 14. You look at Denny, nice performance, 17 points, 5 for 10, 2 from 4 from 3. You look at Kispert, man. His shot, 4 from 8, 3 from 7 for 3. So you got quality minutes from Kispert and Denny off the bench. And now I think it's a little questionable starting Gill. Now, who would you start? Now I know that Denny's dealing with the stomach ailment, and maybe you put Kispert. I don't know if I'm gonna start Gill in that situation, but 2 points from Gill, that kind of tells you all you need to know. But it's just, again, we need another guy off the bench to really help us have that scoring punch off the bench, man. Because while it's good to see Denny and Kispert have these type of nights, you could say it's a team overall that suffer from a lack of consistency, but those two really suffer from a lack of consistency, and we need a consistent threat off the bench, man. But no, it's not really. I mean, Denny and Kispert did their thing on the bench, man. But I do think we missed Kuzma tonight, and we definitely missed Monte. I think, that was a factor. But even all, we still only lost by 6 to a team that, quite frankly, outside of Boston, has the best chance in the East to make the NBA Finals, in my opinion, because my top 2 is Boston and Milwaukee. But anyways, so it shows that the lack of perimeter defense is a big factor for us, because the 3-point shot is what lost the game for us, or the lack of defending against 3-point shots. So, I mean, if you look at it, like you said, almost everybody on the roster was hitting threes on us. I mean, Joe Ingles was hitting them. Jevon Carter was hitting them. I mean, everybody was teeing up and shooting whatever. And that just shows that there's no pressure, man. We're putting no pressure on shooters, man. We're not charging out of shooters. It's just we're sitting there and watching them shoot. We've got to get better with that. We've got to really defense got to get better, man, especially perimeter. Again and again, we've said it all year, man, that Wes Unseld Jr.'s MO is defense. So you need to play the MO. Come on, man. Like, what's going on? Like, your guys aren't pressuring shooters. Look, we said it last game, man. You can play around with these mid-tier to lower-tier teams. Look, Milwaukee is going to light you up. And they did it. Look, that 3-point alone is why we lost this game, because you can argue that if we were tougher on a 3-point shot, we had a good chance to win this game. It's just we have been terrible all year on the perimeter, and that is our MO. And to me, that is a factor that lost this game for us.
Yeah, 110%. We're going to talk about some individual performances as well. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head on 3-point defense. But we're going to get a quick word from Brandon. We'll talk about some individual performances.
Yes, sir. Tonight's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. So you're wondering, how does it work? Well, you pick 2 to 6 players, and if they go and score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you can watch. That includes the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NHL, PGA, college football, men's and women's college basketball, soccer, WNBA, esports, NASCAR, tennis, MMA, boxing, disc golf, Euro basketball, cricket, and more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy, I'm trying to tell you. Safe and fast withdrawals, currently operational in over 30 states and our neighbors to the north in Canada. Download the PrizePicks app or go to PrizePicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks. So, before we move on, man, you got anything else from the game?
Denny played one of his better games offensively. I'm not gonna say he was in a slump, but he was struggling offensively in the last couple of games. I was impressed with what he did tonight. He shot some threes in rhythm and knocked them down. He ended up with 17 points coming off the bench, 6 boards. He's been rebounding the ball really well, 2 assists, and playing tough defense on Giannis as well. He had 3 steals, 2 assists, and he ended the game with 4 fouls. But I loved his effort, and I love the way he finished around the rim. I'm not going to say actually went to his left, but he had a really nice move on Jay Crowder and went to the left and finished strongly. Had a nice layup. So I was impressed with that. And Kispert, we've been giving Kispert a hard time because he was in a slump. I want to say he was in the last week or 2 weeks ago. He was in a slump. He was struggling, but he's been shooting the ball well from the 3-point line. And he cut it to – we were down 115 to 111 at one point. He cut the lead down and gave us a fighter's chance in the game. Kendrick Nunn, he's just been struggling off the bench. He's basically been struggling like how Will Barton was struggling when Will Barton was here. We were expecting Will Barton to be, give us some firepower off the bench, and he was just really wildly inconsistent. Same thing with Nunn. Kendrick Nunn has been wildly inconsistent as of late. 10 minutes, 3 points. And that's with guys being out. Kuzma being out, we could definitely use some more scoring and shot creation, and he just hasn't been able to really consistently provide that for us. Jordan Goodwin, once again, has given us good minutes. Didn't shoot the ball well. Was 1 for 7, 4 assists, 8 boards. I thought he gave some good effort tonight too, getting to the basket. Gafford tonight finished pretty well. He's been playing pretty well as of late. And Brad, scoring wise, he struggled in the first half. Had a couple air balls. Had an air ball when we were down. The Wizards were really, it was really a 5-point, lead for the Bucks for the majority of that fourth quarter. We cut it to 1 point at 1.2. So I would really like the Wizards' effort tonight. I didn't like their effort against the Bulls a couple days ago, but tonight I thought they played with heart tonight. I got to tip my cap to them. I thought they played with heart. Of course they were the underdogs in this game. The Bucks are just a better team, just simply saying. And I thought they were competitive tonight. I thought they played hard. I thought there were some chances where they really did have a chance to win. But the tail of the tape is 3-point shooting. Once again, Brad was 0 for 5 from the 3, and Porzingis was 1 for 8 from the 3. We hit 8 threes. They hit 22. So simply put, that's just what it came down to. But I did want to tip my cap to Denny tonight. I thought he played really well tonight. DeLon Wright, once again, he's been playing good ball as well as the starter.
Look, Turbo wasn't the issue, man.
Yeah.
Turbo was rocking tonight, man. I like what I saw from Denny. So, I guess let's kind of look at what the issue is, man. Because there's 2 things we're guilty for this year. One, we'll either start fast and we'll slow down and let them come back and even beat us, or we'll start poorly and play catch up. What do you think the problem is? Because this has been the problem all year, man. This has been one of the most consistent things about this roster is the inconsistency. What do you think it is? Do you think that scouting is the problem, not knowing your opponent until you really get to know them on the court? You think that's an issue?
Yeah, it looks like it. You look at the Blazers game, they let Anthony Simons hit 8 threes, something like that, just something ridiculous. I know Cam Thomas for the Nets, he came out of nowhere kind of, but we all knew that Cam Thomas could score and get baskets and get buckets. He's just a scorer. So that was disappointing being up by 20 and losing both those games. But yeah, I can't call it, to be honest with you. The Wizards are just wildly inconsistent. At one point, I thought they had a really good chance to win this game. They were down by 1 point at one time. But yeah, and then the turnovers were the tail of the tape against the Raptors. That's what lost in the game tonight is 3-point shooting. So they just find so many different ways to lose games, and then they'll surprise you and win some games. The Hawks game, I was pretty surprised they went into Atlanta and won that game. So they're just wildly inconsistent. Kuz being out, I'm not gonna say if Kuz was here, we would have won the game because the Bucks are, they're just a championship contender. But yeah, it's just the 20-point, and then the Timberwolves game, they were down by 20, like you said, they were down and they came back. So I really can't call it with this team. This team, they take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and that's what I thought about this Raptors 1-1 thing. Where if they could have won those 2 games, it would have been huge because the Bucks is going to be uphill battle. So they really needed to win that game last night. That was a huge game for them. So they took 2 steps forward with beating the Hawks and beating the Raptors, and then they lost the Raptors. So they took 2. So now they're taking 2 steps back, and that's why they're there. It's just the definition of the Wizards team and franchise right now. They're a middling team. They're in purgatory. They're not good enough to win a championship, and they're not bad enough to tank. So they're just in that middling spot, that playing spot. So they just always take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or 1 step back and 2 steps forward, and they'll just end up in this 39 and 43 range. And the last game that they lost to the Raptors, there's a record that they set now. They have that signified and solidified them not winning 50 games since 1979. So now they're statistically or mathematically they can't win 50 games. And this is another year since 1979.
What do you say to that? I mean, it's just what do you even say to that? But I got one more question for you, man. We said this all year long that West was brought in because of his defensive mentality in Denver. So with the defensive struggles this season, man, do you think it's a case of not having the right personnel to fit the system, or you think it's a case of he's not utilizing the strengths of who he has on the roster?
This is another good question. I think the signing of DeLon Wright, he's our best perimeter defender. Denny's a defensive-minded guy. So personnel-wise, we definitely could bring in some more defenders and some more dogs. Like you look at Jevon Carter, that's a guy that wants to pick up, full court and get in your face. DeLon Wright is a guy like that. Denny's not scared to, get up in somebody's face and play defense as well. So the personnel, yeah, I think we could definitely in this all season try to bring in Jordan Goodwin's another guy that they brought in to play defense as well. But yeah, I don't. West, his defense, I think they have improved. You look at some of the numbers when they since Christmas, they've had a good record. The defensive rating has gone up. The defensive efficiency has gone up since Christmas when they're like, I got to look at the numbers, but they went on the winning streak and they started playing good ball. But yeah, it is some of the personnel. They do have to get some more defensive minded guys in for sure. But some of it has been on West too, and I think he has improved, like playing some of the zone, like in the beginning of the year where we gave a lot of threes to the Pacers, the Nets. We just kept playing zone. We kept double teaming. We were double teaming James Harden. He was finding open shooters like Maxey. So that was just some self-destruction stuff that West was doing, where you're doubling guys, leaving guys wide open, kind of like what we did tonight with Giannis. So it's a combination of stuff. They do need to draft or sign some more defensive-minded guys in here for the Wizards, for sure. So that's another good question right there too. So I would chalk it up to another combination. It's a combination of things.
Okay, I can dig it. So, man, before we move on to comments, man, you have anything else from the game?
No, I think we covered it all, man. A tough loss, but I do appreciate the effort. That's one positive thing I will say. That's the Bucks are a darn good team, and Giannis is an MVP candidate every year. And Drew Holiday is a good player. They have a lot of good. Chris Middleton was out tonight too, so they were missing him, and we were missing Kuz. But they have a darn good team, and I thought the Wizards put up a fight tonight for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love the fight, man. It wasn't for lack of trying. It's just, we lived and died by the 3, man. So it is what it is. But before we move on to comments, Ed's going to holler at y'all about Built Bar.
Yes, sir. I got a Built Bar in my house right now. It's the Built Puffs bar. It's really, really good. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're all covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievably flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they are healthy. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering your Built bars at Built.com. Now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. If you're close to Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie batter, and churro. You can thank me later. All right, so we're going to get to a couple of comments here. We got 61 comments here tonight, 41 people in the chat. Just want to thank you guys for listening. As
Absolutely.
always, and watching on YouTube, Desan says another awful, disgusting, bummy, pointless, garbage game by Kitchen. I didn't even read this comment before reading it, so I'm just reading. Might as well cut him and just give his spot to one of the guards we picked up recently. So yeah, Bouye, we picked him up. I gotta do my research on him. They picked up another guy today, Brandon. I'm not sure if you remember his name. From the NBL, he was the NBL MVP.
Xavier.
That. But I can't remember. All I'm gonna say is I saw some of his highlights, and he's not much of a shooter, but he can jump out the gym. He can jump to the moon. He's super athletic. The first highlight that I saw, he does a crossover and dunks on somebody. His name is Cook. His last name is Cooks.
Yeah, it's Xavier Cook.
Yeah, Xavier Cooks. Yep, Xavier Cooks. He was the MVP in the NBL. I'm gonna look up his measurables, but it looks like he's 6'6". But yeah, he's dunking on people and yamming on people. The Wizards certainly could use some athleticism. I think the team, to answer your defensive question, we don't have a lot of athletes on the team.
Yeah,
we don't have a lot of guys that can leap. And I think they can really move their feet as well. And I think this guy, Xavier Cooks, we'll see what he can do. I don't know if he's going to get any playing time, but if he gets in there, man, they need to call a couple lob plays for him and get him in transition for sure. So, because this guy's an athlete.
Oh, absolutely, man. I checked him out earlier today, man, and he's definitely an athlete. He's got some hops on him, man. So, I agree with you, man. We need more athletes. We need more guys who can come in and be more athletic on the squad, man. So I completely agree.
And then about Nunn, Desan, he's in a slump right now. So, we're just not getting much from him. So, I mean, if you're not going to get much from him, Quentin Jackson, I think he had I want to say he had a pretty good game against the G League Ignite. They just played against Scoot Henderson. Johnny Davis has been playing better as of late too. I've seen some stats from him. He's playing a lot better. I don't know if he's ready yet to contribute in meaningful minutes yet. But if Nunn's going to play like that, then you might have to look at Quentin Jackson, some other guys, and call them up.
So looking at Johnny Davis, man, I'm gonna holler at you real quick. He has improved, but you think it's time to give him that title of a bust? I mean, do you think he's earned bust, or do you think he's still able to kind of find his way?
Yeah, I think it's still too early. I know it's not looking good, but as of late, he's played a lot better. Ever since the All-Star break, he's getting confidence. He's playing a lot better. Just from the stats that I've seen, I haven't been able to sit down and watch a game. A couple of highlights here and there.
Yeah.
Isaiah Todd had a good game as well. So I don't know if Isaiah Todd's gonna get any playing time any soon, but it's just positive to see something good from Johnny, because Johnny he was struggling even in the G League. So it's good to see something from him. It's gonna be a slow process for him. Yeah. I'm excited to see him in the summer league. Honestly, I want to see how he does it, because he struggled in the summer league last year too, or this past season. So I'm excited to actually see him play and what he can do. But yeah, it's way too early. It's way too early. We've seen a lot of guys go to the G League and they play better in recent years. So it's still too early. I'm still rooting for Johnny. I like the pick when we picked him up. He certainly is struggling right now, but I haven't given up yet.
Yeah, I'm with you. I totally agree with you, man. I think it's too early, because you see that being thrown around. There's people calling him a bust, and it's way too early. Because if you look at his career at Wisconsin, man, he started slow. He kind of built up over time. So I still think there's hope for Johnny, man. I still like his intangibles as a player, man. But so, yeah. But getting back to Nunn, I don't know, man. I mean, what do you say? Because Rui's not exactly lighting up in LA either. So it's just, it's one of those things where it's just, it is what it is. I mean, hey, at least we got those 3 second rounders. So, I think he'd be all right, man. He's struggling, but, he came in hot, and I think he'll pick it up, man. It's just, the bench is what it is. Just like we said at the deadline, man, I think we're suffering from the fact that we are one bench score away from really having that consistent threat on the bench. So let's see. Man, Got a lot of good comments tonight, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have to follow up tomorrow and answer some of
Oh, absolutely.
them.
Oh, this is cold. The sign said Wes going to be learning to China. So y'all trying to send him to China already? Oh man, I mean Wes, he's got to make that leap, man. Going into year 3, he's got, he's hit or miss, man. And this whole roster is just so inconsistent, and it goes to coaching too, man.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, you guys are going into that bullets forever with 3 R's at the end. Says when Bill Carson Lopez and proceeded airball the wide open 3. I knew we would lose. Laughing my butt off. The last minute turnover is nothing new from him. Hope he likes LA. Yeah, so I was looking at it. He turned the ball over. It was 108 to 115. So that was a crucial turnover. It was about 52 seconds left in the game. Joe Ingles gets the steal, and then he did airball 3. Now he did get hot in the second half. He played a lot better in the second half. The first half was definitely a struggle from him. Didn't hit any threes tonight, but offensively he was a lot better in the second half for sure. But yeah, the turnovers in the clutch, they are frustrating. They're frustrating.
Yeah, and there's 2 types of stars in this league, man. And I'm not ready to call Bradley Beal superstar, but he definitely is a star if you look at All-Star and obviously contract. But some players, man, if you look at Giannis, he's able to kind of carry a team, man. He can go out there and really carry a team. And then Bradley Beal, man, he when he's got the key guys around him, that's where he succeeds, man. Kuz, I think him not playing tonight hurt. I'm not gonna say we would have won. I'm with you on that, but Bradley Beal, man, I just these turnovers in crunch time, man. It's got to stop, man, because when you're that guy and you get paid that amount, man, you not commit turnovers in crunch time, man. So yeah, that air ball was something else.
Yeah, we'll probably read one more comment and wrap it up for the night.
Yes, sir. Got you. Man, y'all heated tonight. Oh man, y'all, you see anything?
Well, actually, you know what? We're just gonna wrap it up tonight. We're gonna wrap it up tonight. We'll probably answer some more tomorrow. We thank you guys for tuning in for sure. You guys have a lot of comments. You guys have a lot of comments. See, Izzy Polycarp said 23 points from Johnny Davis. I think that's the game that I saw some of his numbers where he's playing a lot better. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you guys for listening. We'll talk more about the Wizards, of course, tomorrow or Tuesday night when they play. I want to say they play the Atlanta Hawks again. They have another short series. The NBA is doing a lot of short series. Just want to make sure I got this right. They play the Pistons. I'm sorry. They play the Pistons on Tuesday. So this is a must-win game.
Yeah.
This is a must-win. You cannot lose to the Pistons. It's in Detroit. You can't lose to the Pistons. We'll probably do a preview tomorrow, but you can't lose to the Pistons. That's all I'm gonna say. If they are serious about even making play-in, they can't lose this game to the Pistons. So thank you guys for listening, making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Make sure you guys check out the Game to Game podcast, where you can check out the NBA every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. Hell to the Wizards. Peace.